Welcome welcome all to the Snailtrail4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how fantastic a lot of things are in Toyotas, actually. We got some fun topics for you guys today. Then this is the show for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler, and joining me for another episode of the Snailtrail4x4 podcast, where we go 4x4ing sometimes, is Jimmy Jet. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I have one question.
Okay.
Why doesn't your sweater come with polka dots?
Yeah, that is a good question. I think because I didn't bleach mine or I don't paint in mine. One or the other.
I'm pretty sure that's brake fluid.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
brake fluid
that's
bleached
my guess. It's super caustic. Yeah,
that makes sense.
And not only is it like bleached, but it's like super thinned out.
Oh, wow.
Like I can see through those holes from the inside, and they're like you can feel them. They're thinner than the rest of the sweater.
Okay, that's interesting. I don't know why, but I've always kept my Stellar Belt sweatshirt as a nicer one of my sweat.
Really?
It's probably the newest hoodie I have. So it's been my I'm going to keep this one clean until I get another hoodie.
Okay.
And then
you'll destroy it.
I'll just, it'll phase out with all the other ones. Yeah. But my Snailtrail4x4 hoodie is getting very old. Mm-hmm. And the design was faded from the start and now is almost
a slug.
Yeah.
It's not a snail anymore.
Almost non-existent. So I'm going to probably talk to Jordan Bun Prince over there. And see if we can do some Snail Trail sweatshirts, do a small run or something. Mm-hmm. And because I need a new sweatshirt. Yeah. So if anybody else is interested in a sweatshirt, hit me up because I could make a small little batch run for us and get those sweatshirts out, even though summer's almost upon us, it seems like. Yeah. So maybe I'll wait till next fall.
You make some Snail Trail wife beaters for us.
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'll take one of those.
All right. Sounds good. It'll just have ketchup stains,
beer stains.
Yeah. B Murphy, get on that.
You need pit stains coming down here too.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's funny.
Good stuff. Let's see. What do we got on the docket for today?
We've got quite a few things. We've got a few giveaways that are going on. We've got the change of giveaways, even though we haven't got confirmation. We're still going to talk about it because why not?
Yep.
We have F&G's birthdays and a winner to go over, which we haven't figured out the winner yet. So we'll do that live.
Yep.
And then I think we'll talk about our weekends and what we've been up to.
Cool. I don't have a whole lot to talk about from the weekend, but I do have some news updates.
Okay.
About trail stuff going on and forest stuff going on. So we'll dive into those topics here. Let's see. Let's start with giveaways.
Okay.
We always love the fun giveaways, right? Indeed. So when you're a listener of the podcast, you get some pretty cool chances to win some stuff. And so we partner with some really cool companies that Jimmy and I really like, and we have conned them into giving stuff away for you guys. So the first one is the monthly giveaway for March. That's the one that you were alluding to. We're going to talk about anyways.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, we have a verbal confirmation from them. So we're just trying to figure out exactly what it was, but we can talk about the company.
Well, I'm pretty sure we're getting a Light Ranger 2000.
Ooh.
And that's not a Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, what is that then? That's what I was thinking it was.
No?
Yeah.
It's the Devos Light.
Devos.
We're working with our good friends Devos. They came out with a new Light Ranger. So the ones that we have are the Light Ranger 1200s.
Yep.
And they now have a Light Ranger 2000. So I believe I should probably look this up, but I think it's a 2000 lumen light now.
That's usually how they label their products. Yes. Devos does. So.
Yeah, exactly. But the new version is, I don't know if it's RGB or it has different colored lights in
lenses inside
of it somehow.
Something like that.
But the old version, the ones that we have, had different cases that you could put over the lens to change its color. If you wanted yellow, red, or orange or white, you could remove those cases. The new version, the Light Ranger 2000, has it all built inside of it. So if you want an orange light, you cycle through it. If you want a red light, you cycle through it. And it's 2,000 watts, which is really cool.
2,000 lumens.
Lumens. Thank you. Yeah. Watts would be
2,000 watts. That's a big light, man.
Yeah,
That's
big light. Exactly. Yeah. 2,000 lumens, which is an upgrade. I almost feel that it might be too much.
Too much light?
Yeah. I mean,
the 1200 is borderline too much light.
But 1200's nice.
Yeah.
It's really good. And I guess, I dim the 1200 a lot.
Yep,
and so you can still dim the 2000.
Yeah.
And I really like the feature that you can set it up to run all 4 sides or a corner. So 2 sides or just a single side.
Yep.
Which is a really nice feature as well that they've done. I mean, we've had Devos on before. We're excited to partner with them again. We're definitely going to get them on this month to talk about what's new in the company and what they've got coming out. Cause I saw they have a few additional features for the Light Ranger system. Like I think they're now making a table for it. And I think they have some other products coming out as well. So we're going to talk to them about that. But yes, so this month's giveaway, I believe, is a Light Ranger 2000, which is going to be an exciting giveaway. We're also working on a discount code with them for the month so that if you don't win it, you can go over and get one or any of the other products or go get some knick-knacky things for your old Light Ranger.
Yep.
But we're excited to have Devos on once again for a partner for the monthly giveaway.
Yep. That'll be fun to catch up with those guys. We haven't talked with them and really caught up with them. Like I've said hi to them in passing through email every once in a while. Like a topic comes up and I'll just be like, hey, I just wanted to send this over to you guys. But we haven't like caught up with them in 2 years.
2 years, I think. I saw him last year at Cruise Moab. And we talked about the new light that is coming out and what was the projected timeline for that. And it was like Christmas time, I think, is when it came out. And so here we are a few months after Christmas. And I think they're really pushing it. So
nice.
I think it's going to be a great relationship for both of us.
Yeah, I still take my Devos light, the 1200 Light Ranger on every camping trip I go on. Granted, I haven't gone on many camping trips in the past year, but they're phenomenal lights. If anybody out there has one, there's a reason why they're kind of regarded as the top light in the overlanding community.
Is that because it's 9 feet up in the air?
That too, yeah.
No, I mean, we loved ours so much, we bought a second one. So we have 2 of them now. And there's been...
I bought them for all the employees one time as a gift. So, yeah.
And there was, when we lived at the other house, there was a power outage and we just pulled the Light Ranger inside the house and we had light in the house. And the assistant has taken it to school. Before for like science projects to represent the sun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And so it's funny how like, it's one of those things and that once you have it, you can find multiple random uses for it. Yeah. Whether it's just a power outage in your house and, you pull your lithium battery in and you pull a Light Ranger in and you can survive and play the record player or, some school functions or whatever. It's one of those things that it's just really nice to have.
Yeah.
And it's nice that it's above your head.
Yes, 100%. Above your head, out of your eyes.
Yep.
So, cool, man. Good stuff. That'll be exciting to get them back on the podcast. Everybody will get a chance to catch back up with Devos and what those guys are up to lately. So, that's for March. Let's do our February giveaway, shall we?
Yeah, definitely. So for February, what did we give away? I'm drawing a blank.
The gear wrench tools.
That's right. Gear wrench tools. Thank you very much. So for February, we're giving away the gear wrench tools, sort of a choose your own adventure. We're going to get a winner here right now. And then we're doing somewhere around $200 giveaway of these gear wrench tools. I'll go into the back. I'll pull out a bunch of tools. I'll lay them all out. I'll put price tags by them. And then you can choose whatever tools you want as long as it adds up to around $200. You can have as many of those tools as you want. Yeah. So that'll be fun for you, and hopefully you can get some tools that you need for your garage or your off-road packing stuff. Stop. He's choosing numbers right now.
I was choosing numbers. I was going to wait and be like, hey, Jimmy, tell me when to stop.
No, I knew what you were doing.
All right.
But now it's just confusing for the listeners.
I know, right?
All right. What number did we get?
We got number 52.
Number 52.
Yeah. So usually we don't do this on air, but we thought it'd be kind of fun to do it on air this time. We take the list of everybody who's eligible for the monthly giveaway, put it down into a list on a spreadsheet. And so every person has their own row, right?
Yep.
And then we take this month, it was 95 people. So we put 1 through 95 into the random number generator on Google. And then I hit the button a bunch of times to generate numbers until Jimmy tells me to stop. And this time it came to number 52, which is number 52, Carl Green.
Carl Green.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Carl Green.
Yeah. So we'll reach out to you, Carl. If you don't hear from us by the time you listen to the episode, reach out to us. And we'll get you everything, those options, etc., for your winnings for the Gear Wrench tools. And then that reminds me,
yeah,
we have a voicemail.
We have lots of voicemails.
We have a voicemail from our buddy at Gear Wrench.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So Jesse, who's one of the engineers for Apex Tools, who owns Crescent Tools, Gear Wrench, a bunch of different tool companies, tool brands. He said, and I kind of pulled it up because I was like, wait a minute, what's Jesse calling in about? And so I listened to the voicemail. It's like one of the first ones I think we've listened to. Pre-listened to before the voicemail episodes on Friday. And I think now would be a perfect time to play his voicemail.
Okay.
So
sounds good.
I'm still connected to the board because we got to listen to an old man tell jokes.
He's so funny.
And by that, I mean Jimmy.
Hey.
So let's pull up Jesse's. Here it is. Let's see what Jesse has to say. Some pretty cool stuff.
All right.
Hey, Tyler. This is Jesse from Apex Tool Group. A little bit behind on the episodes, about a week or so, but I heard the one about the garage storage. And just want to let you know that I've been working on a project with Crescent Tool, and it's coming with it's more for the construction industry, but it works very well for your garage too. Basically a 3-shelf folding cart that you can load up, bring it out in your driveway, work on your vehicles, and not everything laid there on the ground. Bring it back in, fold it up, and put it away in your garage. It doesn't take up much space. So it's a project I've been working on right at about 2 years now. So be on the lookout for it this spring. Showing up in hopefully some Home Depots soon. So yeah, keep rolling.
So I thought that was exciting because I'm like, that's exactly what I need, what I want.
That's awesome.
So I figured, we're doing a Gear Wrench, announcing the Gear Wrench tool giveaway. It'd be fun to kind of hear about some of the things that Jesse's been working on for him.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for that information. We'll definitely have to get Tyler one of those so he can keep it in the Gear Wrench family. Yeah.
Jesse, if you ever see kind of when the sales team launches those, shoot me a text message on the Snail Trail line or an email or something. Get in touch with me. And I will definitely head down to my little Home Depot around the corner here and grab one as soon as it's there. So
I could use one as well.
Yeah. So sweet. Congrats to Carl Green for the Gear Wrench giveaway for February. Let's see, while we're here, let's do FNGs and birthdays. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool. So we got birthdays for 1 year birthdays in March. March. 1 year birthdays for March.
So we have no FNGs.
Yep.
Wah. So yeah, birthdays time.
Birthdays. So no 1 years.
No 1 years. I saw that too.
We have a 2 year.
Oh, sweet.
Dustin Meeks.
Dustin Meeks.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Dustin Meeks. 1 year,
fun one.
Or 2 year birthday.
2 year birthday.
2 year.
Let's see. 3 year birthday. None. We have a lot in April though.
Yeah. Well, we got the gift box.
That's the gift box that month. Yeah.
Okay. I think everybody waits till that month anyway.
Yeah.
Right,
4 years. We have 2.
2. All right.
Yep. Zachary Lilly.
Zach Lilly.
Zach
Sweet.
Lilly.
Thank you.
Is that Oklahoma Zach?
I don't think so.
Okay. Zach Lilly, Seth Kroom.
And Seth Crum?
Kroom?
Kroom?
Crume.
Crummy.
Crummy. Crummy. Zach Crummy.
Zach Crummy.
Sorry, Seth Crummy.
Seth Crummy.
Yep.
Seth Crummy and Zach Lilly.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the same Zach.
Either. Zach. I guess call and let us know.
Go to the other. We could figure it out if we wanted to spend the time. We could go to the next page and see where his address is.
Oh, that's true. Let's see. So that's 4 years.
Yeah. So any 5 years?
No 5 years.
No 5 years.
Nobody gets a 5-year gift on the March.
5-year gifts. Bummer. Well, there's probably some 5-year Aprils for
There
sure.
are one.
There's one.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one too. So
Sweet.
we'll get to give him a hard time
next month.
Yeah. We might be able to hand his off in person.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll announce that one next month. So
All right.
that's it. So whoops. I hit a button that said convert to table and didn't mean to. All right, there we go. We're back.
Sounds good. All right. So FNG's done, birthday's done, giveaway done.
Yep.
This month's giveaway done. I think the only thing necessarily left for the most part is our reviews discussion. So if you go over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a review, you automatically get entered for some of the giveaways that we do there. Once you leave a review, you're entered forever into our giveaways whenever we do a giveaway. So just go over, leave a review for us on Apple Podcast. Once we get to 700 reviews, which is coming up fairly quick, we're giving away a Onyx Off-Road Elite membership along with some swag packs from Morphlate and Snailtrail4x4. And once we get to 750 reviews, we're giving away a set of tires from Yokohama Tire. So big thanks to Yokohama for donating a set of tires of the winner's choice for that winner. The only stipulations there has to be smaller than a 20-inch rim and has to be DOT approved tires.
I like it.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So that's I think all of our giveaways.
I think so.
Going on. Next month is gift box month. We kind of alluded to it. So, starting April 1st, maybe April 2nd, we might play a joke on you guys. So starting April 1st or 2nd, through the end of the month, which is like April 38th, I think, this year. So we will have gift boxes open and available for people. So you can, get in, change your tier if you wanted to get in on the gift boxes, get out of the gift boxes, change stuff up. Kind of April is the month to do it in. So we also have, that's going to be Tyler's month this time for gift boxes.
I guess I got to mark down. I need a gift.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Tyler's gift. B-Day.
So we got that coming up in April. So everybody pay attention. We're announcing it nice and early here, so you guys have plenty of time to do it. Please, please, please keep in mind, we say this every time, and we still seem to get people that forget. And when you go in and modify your tier through Irate 4x4, it sets it up as a subscription to your PayPal account. In order to cancel your old tier or cancel your subscription, you need to go into your PayPal account and modify or edit your subscriptions. We cannot do it for you. It's something you have to do on your end to modify your subscriptions. So if you are changing things around in April, make sure you go in and play around in your PayPal account as well.
Yeah.
So,
and while you're doing that, make sure your address is correct.
That's a big one as well. If you're planning on receiving a gift box, you need to have the correct address, because I don't think we're going to have any spares this time.
No. No, I don't think we will.
Yeah. So we won't have any spares. If your address is incorrect, sorry, not sorry. Yeah. You guys should know by now. So, let's see. What else do we got going on? I think that's it, huh?
I think so.
Cool. Should we take a quick break then?
Sounds good.
All right.
Let's do it. Let's go get a beverage.
I'm down for beverages and nachos. So we'll go get some beverages and nachos, and we'll be right on back after we eat our beverages and nachos.
Are you stuck inside? Are you not sure where you want to go to explore? We'll open the Onyx Off-Road app. It shows you all the trails around you, and it tells you their difficulty. Now you can quickly search out your next adventure or plan your next trip. Download Onyx Off-Road from the App Store. Onyx Off-Road, built for the adventurer.
Welcome back, ladies and gentle ladies. We are here for your Thursday entertainment. That's what we do here. We entertain you guys. Hopefully, usually not. I don't know how much entertainment goes out really, but we try our best. And if it's not working, you can call in to our complaint line, which is 408
800
5169 408 800 516. That sounds right. Call that number. We'll see what happens. 408 800 5169. We'll see what happens. Man, we got some updates of what Jimmy and I did over the weekend. And then I have some news updates on some trail stuff. So a couple updates from Blue Ribbon Coalition, updates on Barrett Lake. So yeah, we can jump right into it. So Jimmy, cool. What were you up to this weekend?
Nothing.
Okay.
Well, not really anything off-road related, unfortunately. The past week and last weekend, I've been helping a buddy get his house ready to move in. And so last week, actually on Wednesday, I drove down to the Bay Area below San Francisco and back the same day.
Oh, jeez.
And then I had talked about how the assistant and I were going to take the trailer down this last weekend and go down to the house and do more work down there. And then it just really turned into a sort of a disaster of logistics, I think is the best way to put it. You know, because we were like, oh, let's leave Friday night and let's go down there and spend the night and we can take the trailer. And then it was a matter of like, okay, well, our daughter was doing theater and she had a theater performance Friday night. And then her dad was going to take her from the performance so that, okay, well, if we take the trailer, like, where are we going to park? How's that going to work? Do we just leave the trailer at home? Do we go back and forth? And then it turned into, well, why don't we just take the rooftop tent? And I was kind of like, well, that's sort of a bummer because we wanted to try the trailer out and sleep in it for the first time. And then it was like, well, do we just want to go leave Saturday and then come stay down there on Sunday? And the assistant didn't want to be there on Sunday at all for the most part. She wanted to be up and out, if anything, on Sunday, because Sunday is sort of our preparation of the weekday. Like we do laundry, we do food shopping, we do organizing the calendars. We just get ready for the week. And, and for the most part, it takes almost all day. Yeah. With all the chores and everything. So she didn't want to waste that day helping somebody else. I don't know. Say it as it is. So then it really was like, okay, well, shall we rooftop tent it Friday night? And then it just turned into like, she had a bad week and she came home really stressed. For those longtime listeners, know that my wife's mom passed away a while ago now, but actually last Friday was her birthday. So she came home and was really emotional, had a tough week and just was like out of it. And so she's like, and then the stress of like getting the camper ready and getting things ready to go or whatever it was just all overwhelming. And so she's just like stressing herself out and going, you know, like, I really need to be there. I need to help. I need to do these things, but there's a lot to do. We still need to get done. And I'm like, you don't need to go. Yeah. Like it's sort of like, if you go, it's a benefit, like some extra hands. Cool. But you don't like, and would be appreciative, but you don't need to go. Yeah. Then she's like, really? You know? And then it just turned into like, okay, well, don't go. Like, you don't need to do this. Like you're stressing yourself out. You're out of it. Like, just chill. Yeah. Like, let's take our daughter to theater. Let's walk across the street to Monk's and go get a drink. Yeah. Relax. Like the weekend's over. You can just chill all day Saturday. And then, you know, on Sunday, we'll start the normal week. So I just went down by myself. I drove down Saturday morning early and worked all day at my buddy's house and drove home Saturday night. And we got a lot done. We didn't get nearly as much done as we had wanted to complete, but prep work takes a long time. Yeah. It's amazing. Like, I think we painted an hour
Yeah.
Or maybe 2 hours worth of some painting from trim to the walls.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like 5 hours of prep work, just cleaning walls up, sanding things down, like taking cracks out of the walls and putting caulking in there and then putting stucco over it. Or I mean, not stucco, but putty over it, and trimming, like sanding parts down on the baseboards and putting wood putty in there, and just trying to get things flat and smooth and straight. And and then taping everything off. And it's just a lot of prep work for a very little amount of paint.
Yep.
And I have this like 18-inch roller. It's, just massive roller. I brought I have a power roller.
Oh yeah.
Where you just stick the thing in like the bucket and then it just pumps everything up to the roller and you just go. But they told me they only bought 1 gallon of paint. I'm like, well, I'm not going to use the power roller for 1 gallon of paint. It's too much assembly and disassembly and cleaning to deal with that. So I have just used this big old roller, and it maybe took me an hour, if that, to roll a gallon of paint. Yeah. And the gallon didn't even make it all the way around the room.
No, yeah, you need to do a whole room. You need like 2 to 3 gallons.
He needed 2 gallons for sure. But I did make it like quite a ways around the room, but I was also doing it thin, and it was sort of twilight hours. So it was kind of, and the paint that we were rolling on was very close to what was there. It was just different. It was like what was there was a red hue, and what we were putting on was more of a green blue hue, but like the color was the same. It was so like I couldn't necessarily see if I missed anything or and I was rolling it on thin because I only had a gallon. Anyways, long story short, we got as much as we could do done. He spent on Sunday he spent more time. He bought another gallon of paint, finished what I wasn't able to complete, and then was able to re-roll, put a second coat on the entire rest of the area, because once it's already on and smooth, and you can apply less the next round.
Yeah.
So that worked out well. He had another friend come over, and he did a lot of taping work, but to his credit, he showed up and he's like, "This is really out of my wheelhouse. Like I'm not a construction kind of guy." And he was slow.
Yeah.
He was, I taped the entire front room and dining room floor, the baseboards and crown molding in the amount of time it took him to tape the baseboards of the master bedroom. But it was nice to have some extra hands. I mean, it definitely something that, they don't have to worry about doing themselves at a later point, because we didn't even get to painting those baseboards at that time. So that was my weekend for the most part. I came home Saturday night late. We had a lazy Saturday night. We just hung out, and Sunday was pretty much what it was meant to be, which was prep work for the week. We did laundry. We did some chores. I did some, I did a cardboard run. Holy crap. I had a lot of cardboard. This was the clean out of the garage post bathroom remodel cardboard, which I had cardboard for the vanity that was wrapped up. I had cardboard for the vanity top. I had cardboard around the bathtub. I had just cardboard boxes for toilets and fixtures and everything. And it was a lot of cardboard, and I just threw it all in the back of Clifford. It has the camper shell on it, and just piled it up and drove to the recycle place and just dumped it all off, and trying to clean out the garage to put the teardrop trailer in it.
Okay.
So now that the cardboard's out, we just have to go through the garage and kind of just organize it and figure out what we want where and how to better organize it. Cause we have a lot of our like party things in there, like the ping pong tables in there. We have a bucket of balls for the kids to play with, from volleyballs to soccer balls to like big inflatable beach balls. And then there's some donation items, and then some things that are for Facebook Marketplace sales. And there's just a whole it's a collect all area. So we need to go through that, organize it, and figure out where we're going to put other things or where we can store things, and get the trailer out of the rain that's been happening here and put it in the garage. So it won't be stored outside, just better protection.
Yeah.
And was my weekend. That was it. Yeah. Didn't spend a lot of time on much of anything off-road. Since I went down to my buddy's house on Wednesday, I felt backed up all week. Or not backed up. What's the right word? I don't know, stressed out because I somewhat lost a day. And because we were supposed to get together on Thursday and shoot a small video, and I had to cancel on you or you canceled on me on Thursday, I canceled on you on Friday. And I mean, it worked out better in the end because Thursday I just ran around like a crazy man, going everywhere, going to get panels, going to get the mini assistant, doing everything. I had a whole bunch of stuff. And then, so I didn't do a lot of work on Wednesday because I was out of town painting. I didn't do a lot of actual shipping of panels on Thursday because I was running around getting panels and stuff. And then, Friday I was like, I got to work. Like I've got so much work I need to get done.
Yeah.
So that was my week and weekend. It was just a crazy painting, drama, family, theater thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. I kind of did semi-similar. My aunt is moving into a retirement home down near Fresno, right? So I was supposed to take me, Reed, and the secretary down to Fresno. And on Wednesday last week, I got a call from Reed's daycare saying he was vomiting.
Oh, yeah.
And cranky and sleeping, lethargic. So I had to go down midday, pick him up. And as I was picking him up and like getting his stuff together, he vomited all over me at the daycare. And I was like,
that's what those white dots are.
Yeah, that's what they are here. So anyways, he wasn't feeling well, and then he threw up all over the crib over nighttime. So massive cleanup in the morning when we woke up on Thursday.
Yeah.
But Reed he's not allowed to go back to daycare, right? Until
for 24 hours.
24 hours after symptoms of whatever he's got. Yeah. So he was home all day Thursday, so I had to cancel shooting our video for your OnlyFans. Sorry. Yeah. And then Friday, he went back, but you were getting ready to go down to the Bay Area panels stuff. So
I was panicking.
Yeah, panicking. But my whole week was taken up time-wise for bank stuff. I have a rant. A
bank.
Rant. Yes, bank.
Okay.
Like a banking institution.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about like the I forgot what it's called, the throttle controller.
Oh, on the bank's throttle controller stuff. No. Let's see. I'm switching over all of Morflate's banking stuff from US Bank to Chase Bank, mainly because Chase tends to put a lot of investment into technology.
Okay.
And making a lot of things interconnected in a simple to use interface for the user, right? So you can access a lot of different things from one interface.
Nice.
US Bank is still stuck in year 2000 with all of their technology, and it's stupid. So anyways, I'm switching over to Chase Bank, and I told them when I set up, I was like, here's how much revenue we do as a business, annual revenue. And here's our common average wire amount that we send out to our production facilities.
Yes.
So we've got domestic wires, international wires. We've got domestic facilities, international facilities that we need to pay for our purchase orders with.
Sure. Yep.
And they said, okay. And so they're like, what's the max amount of a wire you want to send that you want to be allowed to send daily? What's the total amount of outgoing do you want to send? So I was like, this amount, X. They said, okay. So I set it all up. And then when we set up the account, so I go to send a wire for about $30,000.
Okay.
Internationally.
And they're like, that's too much.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yep.
Jeez.
They said, hey, that's a lot of money.
That exceeds your limit.
So we're flagging your account to go through extra security authorizations. I'm like, okay. I can
first run
run as you guys are getting used to how I do business.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go through the security authorizations and I failed.
Nice. Why'd you fail?
The first time they asked me to authorize using the business debit card.
Okay.
brand new card, never used it before.
Probably not activated.
It wasn't activated.
Yeah. Okay.
So I go to put in the information, and they're like, sorry, that's incorrect. I'm like, and when you fail a security authorization, they are not allowed to talk to you anymore.
Oh.
So they literally say, oh, you failed. I can't talk to you anymore. I have to end the conversation and hang up on you, essentially. I was like, well, why did I fail? And like, they're like, I can't tell you that. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. You can't tell me why. I understand. I get it.
But it sucks as like, if we're fraud, I 100% understand.
Yeah.
But in your shoes, I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah. And so I was like, their solution to it is to just call back.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. All right, stop talking to me. I'll talk to you in like 30 seconds.
Yeah. They're like, you have to call back and we have to go through reauthorization. I was like, can you just go through reauthorization here with me now? They're like, no, the system locks me out. And I was like, okay, so your solution is just for me to call back. And what if I get to you again? So I'm literally just hanging up the phone, taking 10 to 15 minutes to go through Chase's phone tree and waiting system just to talk to you again.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah. And I was like, that seems pretty stupid. And they're like, yeah, it's our protocol. Sorry. And I was like, that seems like a dumb protocol.
Yes.
I was like, that's not secure at all. Like, if you're doing that to be secure, that's not secure.
No.
That's just putting a bigger hassle on your customers.
Yeah.
Like, I get why the rule is in place, but the rule does not solve the problem for the security measure of the rule.
No.
So anyways, like that started, I was like, all right, fine, I'll call back. Whatever. Sure. So I call back. And then they asked me, the question they asked me was, in what state was my social security number administered in? I was like, California.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, sorry, you failed. I'm like,
what?
Excuse me? They're like, yeah, you failed. And I was like, did I answer that question incorrectly? They're like, I can't tell you. Call back. I'm like, what? I was like, hold on here. I was like, no, hold on. Because if I'm failing that question, then your guys' data is incorrect.
Yes.
And I need to talk to somebody about your data that you have.
Right.
Like, how do I solve this problem?
I know where I was born.
Yeah. If I call back and answer that same question over again and keep failing, I have no way to talk to you about what's wrong with the problem. And I can't talk to you about the problem until I'm authorized securely, but I can't authorize securely because you have incorrect data.
That, or does your dad and mom have a secret they need to tell you?
It maybe, right? I'm definitely, my birth certificate says Cahuilla Delta Hospital, Visalia, California. Or Tulare, California. Sorry.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, my birth certificate says that. My social, I would assume I got my social security card when I was born.
Wait,
I was applied for when I was born.
Where was the social security card issued from?
The state that it was issued from.
Well, maybe it was Vermont or DC or something that they sent it to you from.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So anyways, so I was like, oh, well, there's another problem with your guys' security issues. So I called back again.
Third time.
It's
the charm, right?
Yep. So the next question they asked me, because they're still asking me. So I activated the debit card, right?
Yes.
So I activated the debit card. I made sure all my correct. So I called the debit card company and made sure everything was correct on that, activated it. And then call back. And I went to activate again, use the debit card. And they said that the information I put in is wrong. And I was like, well, can I try again? Like, I might have mistyped a number, because like you can't tell them. They put you on a secure line where you're typing in the number and it goes off of the tone of your keypad inputs.
Sure.
I'm like, okay, well, let me try again. Maybe I hit a wrong number. They're like, nope, sorry, I'm locked out. You have to call back. Okay, so I call back again. I'm like, let me try the debit card authorization. So I tried again, and I put in what I think are all the correct numbers. And they're like, sorry, it's incorrect. You have to call back. You're locked out. You have to call back. And I'm like, so there's something wrong with my debit card.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with there. And I was like, can I talk to somebody about my debit card? They're like, yeah, we can talk about your debit card. We have to authorize you first. And I was like, how are you going to authorize me? Do I have to put in my debit card information? They're like, yeah. I was like, well, if there's a problem with my debit card information, then how do I get authorized to talk about my debit card information?
Oh, wow.
So ultimately, they're like, you have to go into a branch. okay, fine. I'll go into a branch and deal with the credit card. Is there another way to authorize me? And that's when they're like, yeah, we can ask you some questions. I was like, let's do that.
Yeah.
So they asked me the California question. I failed. I was like, fuck. All right. So I called back and they're like, let's ask you some questions. I was like, you can ask me any question you want, except for what state was my Social Security administered in, because apparently you have the wrong data for that. And they're like, okay, okay.
We don't have any more questions for you.
So they asked me, the next question they asked me is fantastic. You'll love this.
I'm ready.
What year is your Ford Tacoma?
I love it. My Ford Tacoma.
What year is the Ford Tacoma that you own? And I was like, I literally took a second take. And by this time, like, my employees know that I get very pissed and frustrated with banks.
Yes.
I hate banks because it seems like whatever security protocols banks have, they don't have them for security protocols. It seems like they try and find the most egregious way to piss off their customers.
Yes.
Through dumb protocols that don't serve any security function.
Yeah.
And so by this time, I'm literally calling back each time with my phone on speaker now, because I'm like, you guys have to listen to what I go through.
Yeah.
And so literally they asked me the question. I looked up at the employees real quick and they have this dumbfounded look on their faces. They're like, did they really ask that? I'm like, so I was like, excuse me, can you ask that question again? They're like, yeah, what year is the Ford Tacoma that you own? Or the Ford Tacoma that you have owned in the past? And I'm like, there's no such thing as a Ford Tacoma. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, do you mean I own an F-350 a Ford F-350 dually right now, and I've owned a Ford F-150 in the past, and I've owned a Toyota Tacoma in the past, but there's no such thing in the world as a Ford Tacoma. And so they were like, so have you owned one? And I was like, no, I've never owned a Ford Tacoma.
They don't exist.
They don't exist. And she goes, okay,
sorry,
you failed the authorization. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
That's awesome.
So anyways, I spent literally half of my working week last week trying to send this one wire. I went down to the branch. I now have the branch manager's personal phone number, his boss, the regional manager's phone number. I have my rep's phone number. Like I have a lot of contacts at Chase Bank now because of all this. But it was absolutely ludicrous what I had to go through. And like, I'm like, am I sending why is this happening? Like, am I sending a wire that's bigger than what I told you guys my expected business relationship was going to be with Chase? They looked and they're like, no. I was like, okay, is $30,000 an outrageous amount for a business my size? You guys know what my annual revenue is. I've shown you my tax incomes, like my IRS tax income, my taxable incomes for the business and revenue and everything. Like, is that wire too big for a business my size to be sending? Like, am I flagged for that? And they're like, no. Like, then what's the problem here? And they're like, you're just a new account. We just need to make sure you're not money laundering, essentially. And I'm like, okay, I get that, but your questions are not getting to the problem of if I'm money laundering or not. Like,
yeah,
we're not even able to get to that point. Like, what are you guys doing here? Another thing that I love, they asked me a bunch of questions manually, like face to face.
Okay.
They're like, we have to ask you these questions for security purposes. And essentially each question was a different way to say, are you defrauding or are you being scammed by sending this money?
Okay. And
I'm like, no, I'm paying for a production invoice.
Yes.
And so they're like,
are you paying a king of Nigeria for a prisoner or a friend's release?
They're like, are you using this money to pay for illegal transport of drugs in the United States? I'm like, no, I'm paying for a production invoice of air accessories, off-road air accessories.
Right.
And they're like, okay, are you being scammed in any way? And I'm like, no, I'm paying for an invoice. Like, they're like, do you know who you're paying? I'm like, yeah, I'm paying an invoice with a known factory I've been working with for 5 years. Like, and they're like, okay. They're like, have you checked to make sure that the email belongs to the person you're talking to? And you know who? I'm like, yes, I've known this. So I'm getting to the point. I'm like, and so finally they asked one question. I was like, oh, you guys caught me. I'm scamming everybody right now. And they're like, are you really?
Failed.
And I was like,
out of here.
They're like, are you really? And I was like, no. And I was like, how do you think people are going to react? Like, I'm magically asking 15 of the same question. I'm magically by question 15 going to say, you guys caught me.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of these questions?
Yeah.
These questions serve no purpose other than to cover your ass. They're not to help me out at all.
Nope.
They're not for frauding me being frauded.
No. Banks aren't here for the people.
No, they're not. Absolutely not.
Banks are not here for you and me.
No, they're not.
They're here for themselves to make money.
Yep. So I just thought I was like, they're like, well, we have to ask these questions. These questions are for your security. I was like, no, they're not.
They're for your security.
Absolutely not my security. You guys are just pissing me off right now.
If I happen to get scammed, you have to give me money and you lose money.
Yeah. And I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, you guys, it clearly states when I'm sending a wire that I have to make sure all of the information, it's my responsibility to make sure all the information is correct to where that wire goes to, because once the wire leaves the bank, once the money leaves the bank has no control over it anymore.
Correct.
And there's a lot of agreements I have to make for every wire I send that agrees to that responsibility. So why do I have to go through all these extra security protocols and steps?
Yeah.
That really are not for my security.
No.
To do this. I've already agreed that it's my responsibility to send a wire correctly. Like, it just seems like banks they seem to pile on more and more security protocols that do less and less security. And that's almost more of like, how much do you really want to send this wire? Do you really want to send this wire bad enough to go through all these extra steps? Or are you going to give up along the way so we can keep your money and reinvest it ourselves?
Sure. I wonder, I mean, it would be slower, but I wonder if you could just do a cashier's check.
Right. It'd be slower and it'd probably be easier at this point. So anyways, I literally spent 20 hours of my work week last week trying to send this one wire.
That's ridiculous.
So anyways, I just want to give a rant. If anybody out there works for a bank, fuck you. That's what I really want to say. Sorry. Not that. Do what you can to help if you own a business out there, do what you can to truly help your customers. It will go so much further for your business than whatever they're trying to do. I don't even know what they're trying to do. So
no. I have Bank of America and I've been having headbutting competitions with them for the last year. And
I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
There's no winning on either side. No. So it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my rant. And then the weekend I spent moving my aunt. Mm-hmm. And I felt, I don't know, it was one funny moment with it. Because the secretary ended up catching whatever Reed had.
Oh no.
So she couldn't go down with us down to Fresno. So I got to take Reed to Fresno by myself for the entire day.
Okay.
Which was a fun experiment.
Yeah.
To go somewhere without mom.
Okay.
And A, see if I can handle it all by myself.
Yeah.
And B, figure out, how is feeding the kid going to work, with him. We're kind of transitioning him off of breast milk right now.
Yeah.
So we're in this phase of working in regular milk into mixing it with the breast milk.
Sure.
To, start transitioning him off of it. And so to see kind of how that would work, and if it's going to be a problem of mom not being around to pump if we need to for any reason, kind of thing. Ended up going awesome.
Sweet.
It went great. That kid though is such a little busybody. So I had a little flatbed dolly that I was moving the furniture and everything out of the truck, down 2 long hallways, up an elevator, down 2 more long hallways to get to the aunt's apartment in the retirement home. And one of the hallways goes right by kind of a dining area, and it's a really nice place.
Okay.
And so they were happening to having dinner. They happened to be having dinner while I'm moving all the shit by them.
Bummer.
And so I was trying to crack jokes with them and be like, hey, sorry to interrupt your dinner. But I was definitely getting mean mugged.
Yeah.
Like each time I went by. But my mom was there, entertaining Reed in the apartment while I'm moving everything. And so afterwards, I had Reed, because I've learned from going to my grandparents' retirement home, old people love babies.
Oh yeah.
They love babies. And so I had Reed push the flatbed dolly all the way back to the truck. So pushing past the dining area, everybody's like, oh, that's so cute. Look at him go. Blah, blah, blah. But he had so much energy that he's walking like these super long distances now.
Yeah.
So anyways, super busy body. And I was able to be like, manipulate the situation and bring the baby out for a parade in order to apologize for ruining their dinner environment. Sure. So did that. But overall, the trip went great.
Good.
Reed starts freaking out about 2.5 hours in the car seat.
Okay.
So,
which is about a 3-hour car ride.
About a 3-hour car ride.
Yeah.
But it's about 2.5 hours at the most to get to the Rubicon.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of like, so I think we can make trips to the Rubicon now.
There you go.
And we could definitely, the Fordyce is about 1.5 hours, maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we can get to Fordyce before he starts freaking out. We can get to Rubicon about the time he starts freaking out. So I'm like thinking in my head, I'm thinking logistics wise that we can start making this happen now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and if we can make it and I can handle feeding times and while trying to move a bunch of shit and maintain a time schedule, I'm like, I think I could take him out on day wheeling trips without mom. So that experiment, I think, went really well on Saturday.
Good. And
so I'm kind of excited now to experiment that over the summertime as we start getting into summer, maybe to go on a couple snow day trips.
Yeah.
With the tracks. So we have a couple storms coming in.
Yes, we do.
That should be dropping some really nice snow in NorCal right now. So my goal is I want to disappear next week at some point.
Okay.
I don't know when. But I'm going to shut everything off and disappear for a day. And I'm going to go snow wheeling. And if that's on a weekend, I'm taking the kid with me.
Nice.
So,
well, that sounds like a good time. I know that we did have a race home on Saturday night.
That's right. That was funny. I totally won, by the way.
Yeah, sure. I was driving down the freeway and I was passing Tyler's house and I was like, hi, Tyler, passing your house. And he's like, hi, I'm in Stockton.
Yeah, I'm not there.
And I'm like, oh, race home. And you're like, it's going to be GPS says 40 something minutes. And at that point I was where I exit to come down to the studio. And I'm like, well, I know I'm 20 something minutes away from my house, so I'm going to win.
I was like, how fast are you going? You're like, 70.
I'm in Clifford. I'm only going 70.
I was like, perfect. I'll go 150 and beat you then.
Yeah. Well, you're like, I'm going 87 miles an hour because I'm scared of going 88 and time traveling or something exactly like that. I was like, oh man.
I was bored.
Yeah.
Reed was asleep. It was, I was like 9:00 at night, something like that at that time. So
yeah, it was close to that. Yeah. I think I got home a little. Yeah, it was around 9:00, right around there. Yeah, that was funny. So that was good. So Sunday was just chill then?
Sunday was chill. I worked on finishing up the alcohol doors for the bar.
Yeah.
So Reed is, it's funny. He's starting to figure out what he's not allowed to get into. And so he'll go over to those spots and do that thing that toddlers do where they look at you and wait for you to say something. And then get an evil smile on their face and reach out and grab it or do whatever. You're like, don't do it. Don't do it.
I know I'm not allowed to do this and I'm going to do it anyway.
So he's doing that.
Just so you know, that continues all forever.
Oh, okay.
For the most part.
I was going to say, I still do that to my parents.
Yeah.
So okay.
It doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. It doesn't stop.
More sly about how to get away with it.
Yes. Okay. So, he's doing that with the alcohol now in the bar. Okay. So I'm like, all right, now I really got to finish these doors.
Yeah. Or drink the bottles.
Or drink when I went down and I was looking for Kahlua and I was like, shit, we're out of Kahlua. So I was like, where's the honey whiskey? I'll do that instead. No, we're out of honey whiskey. I was like, okay, where's the vanilla whiskey? Out of that too. And I'm like, all right. So I'll just take the regular whiskey and
yeah, I know what I'm going to buy you for your birthday now.
So I need to go restock the liquor cabinet. But I need to finish the doors first. Yeah. That was kind of what I did on Tuesday. Tuesday was just keeping it easy because my body was sore. My back hurt from moving everything by myself pretty much. And then driving for 6 hours. So
if you said Tuesday, I think you meant Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah. I was relaxing and cause everything was just not happy. So
I was sore from bending over, climbing ladders, doing all the painting and everything.
We're getting old, man.
I put one of those massager things on my back. It's made for your neck. Like you strap it over your neck. I don't have you. It's this thing that you strap, you put on your neck, and then it has these slings, and you put your arms in the slings, and then you can push down with your arms and apply pressure, apply more pressure.
Okay.
Well, my small of my back was a little sore, and so I put it on the small of my back, and I was like leaning back against the couch to apply pressure, and playing Minecraft at the same time, and I think I hurt myself
doing that.
Jeez. Because it has these nubs and 4 nubs, and then it rotates in circles, and they go from bigger and smaller and higher and lower.
Okay.
And the one that protruded the most would catch my muscles on my back and snap over it. And at first I was like, this feels good. And then later I'm like, this kind of starting to hurt. And then the next day I'm like, oh man, I'm not sore. I'm in pain. I hurt the muscle doing that thing. So I was like, okay, need to relax for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I did say that, I also want to say that your story of with Reed for the day, I have a fun experiment coming up with the mini assistant.
Okay.
Where the assistant's going to go out on, she's going to a training of some sort in Southern California for 5 days. And so it's going to be me and the mini assistant for 4 solid days and during the week. And so it's going to be a test to see, can I keep this thing fed?
Yeah. Can you keep it alive for 4 days on your own?
Keep her alive for 4 days. Can I get her to her appointments on time? Is she going to be mentally stable by the time that we're done with this?
Yeah.
So that that'll be at the end of March here. So that'll be a fun little experiment.
Yeah. So she's going to come back, and you should tell her that you taught her how to wear her underwear for 4 days.
Yeah.
Tell her mom when she gets back, I wore my underwear for 4 days.
Forwards, backwards, inside, forwards, outside, backward.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's
absolutely
funny.
That or I'm going to just destroy the house.
That way you never have to do it again?
Yeah.
Fail miserably at the task you're assigned to.
I want the mini assistant crying when mom comes home, and the house to be a pig pen, and that no work got done at all or something. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, cool. This has been Jimmy and Tyler Growing Old podcast. Now we have some off-road news for you guys.
Yay.
So the first one is kind of new. There is a Blue Ribbon Coalition sent out an email, I believe it was yesterday, talking about 2 new executive orders that Trump just signed that have to do with forestry stuff.
Okay.
And so essentially what it's doing is in order for the National Forest Service was historically was set up to manage timber contracts, right?
Yes.
And so we're kind of it seems like this is kind of getting back to that.
Okay.
And throughout time, there's been a lot of environmental regulations that just kind of set up and get stacked up on top of each other, kind of like bank security protocols.
Yes.
That just make it very difficult for logging companies, timber companies, to produce timber in the United States.
Got it.
And so a lot of and what we've been finding in California over the past 5 to 7 years, we've had a lot of really big fires in California. It seems like they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And what we're finding out is that overgrowth in forests is not healthy. Forest fires back in the early 1900s were not really that bad because they couldn't become this outrageously out of control maelstrom, right? Forests were naturally thinned by fires and naturally kept in a healthy status by fires. It's a natural cycle of forests, right?
Yes.
Us as human beings, we tend to have a lot of empathy for things around us, other human beings, wildlife, things that can't really care for themselves, quote unquote. Sure. And we think that we need to interject to help care for these things that can't care for themselves. And it's a great sentiment to have, but what we've kind of done, since I think the protocol started in the 20s or 30s, 1920s, 1930s, of whenever a forest fire started and happened, the goal was just put it out.
Okay.
Extinguish it, get rid of it. And, we're thinking fire is bad because we see it as destruction and death.
Yes.
And to an extent it is, but fires also bring life and renewance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Renewals of resources. And so,
there's a tree. I don't remember which one it is. Maybe Barrett can call in and let us know. But there's a tree that drops its seeds, and the seeds need the heat and the fire
to open up,
to germinate them, to help germinate them, and they really flourish after a fire runs through because all the seeds got dropped. Then the fire runs through. Then all these seeds now can germinate and they'll grow more trees.
Yep. And so that type of evolution only evolves because fires happen naturally, right?
Yeah.
And so anyways, so in the 20s and 30s, we started this protocol of just put out, extinguish all fires. And then we got really good at it. And in the 70s or 80s, we started seeing fires become a little bigger than we can handle and extinguish.
Okay.
And so we've revamped up and spent more resources on fire extinguishing and fighting forest fires, and CAL FIRE and the National Fire Service, National Forest Service creating their fire teams. And we got we got even better at fighting forest fires. And then we get up into the 90s, 2000s, and that's when we start seeing forest fires really become out of hand, where there's not really a whole lot we can do. And so on the ground, like with hot shots teams and whatnot. So we start investing more into tankers and air fighting techniques. And now we're in the 2020s and we're starting to see forest fires become too big to handle from air fighting techniques and tanker techniques. So like, what's next?
Yeah. Why is this happening?
Why is this becoming a problem?
And it really takes worse and worse and worse.
It really takes looking back 100 to 200 years of our history to figure out the pattern and what's going on. And we've come to the conclusion over the past 5 to 7 years that really we just need to help our forests be managed better and properly without the environmental regulations that are keeping us from managing the forests.
Okay.
And so that means we need to let logging companies do their thing, or we need to let fires do their thing, one or the other. And there's a way that you can, there's theories that you can manage a forest just fine through man-made management rather than natural fire management.
Okay.
Right. Letting a fire manage a forest.
Yeah.
And the theory is we need to let logging companies come in and manage the timber. And so Trump signed 2 executive orders that allows timber contracts to start being awarded to logging companies and not have to go through endangered species, high endangered species regulations. Like there's a committee now that's going to be put up specifically to look at endangered species risks versus timber regulation, timber contracts.
Interesting. Okay.
Rather than just stating, oh, there is an endangered species in this area, even though it might be in other areas too. But actually, if we work and manage the forest properly in this area, it could actually help the endangered species in this area rather than a fire coming through and killing everything.
Yeah, right.
Right. And so that's one part of it, is to kind of loosen up and revamp the endangered species regulations.
Okay.
As well as the NEPA regulations, NEPA processes. So anytime you award a timber contract in a lot of places, National Forest Service, you have to go through a NEPA evaluation.
Yeah.
And NEPA evaluations require geologists to come in, ecologists to come in. There's a lot of things and people and specialty people that have to come in to gauge whether or not a timber contract should be awarded in this area. They're going to get rid of that.
Oh.
And so, or at least loosen a lot of the regulations on it.
Does that mean we can put a ham radio antenna up at Meadow Lake now?
I don't think that would be awarded.
Wasn't that a NEPA thing?
It was. That was what was keeping us. They're like, yeah, if you want to put an antenna site here, we have to go through a NEPA evaluation, and a NEPA evaluation is $250,000 just to start.
Yeah.
So a lot of times if a logging company wants to get a timber contract somewhere, they have to put in minimum $250,000 just to start logging or just to figure out if they can start logging. Yeah. Right. So that's going to be loosened up a lot. And a couple other things. If go on the Blue Ribbon Coalition website, I'm sure they have an announcement about it since I sent the email out about it. But it's just kind of interesting that it seems like that process now is going to kind of get reset and get back to the National Forest Service. Sorry.
Original purpose
of, and letting them manage the forests properly, quote unquote properly, right? Sure. What the prevailing theory currently is. And along with that, so you may think, another interesting stat that they gave for that was that currently we import about, 16 billion board feet of wood from Canada.
Okay.
For construction purposes, whatever, in the United States. The United States imports about 15 billion board feet of wood. These one fire alone in Oregon, which was the Labor Day fire, burned 14 billion board feet of wood.
Yeah.